Welcome back to Our Hollywood. I'm Kim.
And I'm Daniel.
And this episode is titled hella formal. Hide your parents. Sex scenes in TV and film. I didn't name this one, obviously.
I named it. Do you like my... Sometimes I like my cringy titles, and then sometimes I'm like...
I just had to process it. That was literally the first time I ever read that.
Oh!
Like,
I looked at the...
No, because on the top it just says sex and TV and film.
Oh, yes.
Like, I didn't even look at the, like...
That's just, like, the quirky little, like...
Hide your parents.
Like, women aren't funny. That one was...
No, that one ate.
That one did.
I came up with that one. And you were
did,
like...
yeah.
You were literally like, well, maybe we shouldn't. I'm like, that's literally, like...
I thought it would, like, be a little jarring, but it was a hit. That episode was really good.
It was really good.
But yeah, today we're talking about sex scenes because there is a movement among the young people of the internet to abolish sex scenes. And personally, I'm here to dispute that. We don't know what Kim's thoughts on it are, so we will discuss throughout the episode. But
right. Well, okay, we're going to get into the context of, like, where we are in life.
Yes. Yeah.
So it kind of makes a little bit more sense as to, like, what we're talking about. But we'll do that right before we get into, like, the meat of it. But what did you watch this week?
Okay. I actually have a story time.
Okay.
Because, like... Okay, so here's the thing. So my boyfriend's out of town, and I am in my watching movies alone era. Well, I mean, I guess I've kind of been. I love watching movies by myself. Especially because there's always those movies that, like, nobody wants to watch with you.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're just like, well, I just have to do... Or, in this case, it was not going to be in theaters anymore after
I didn't even know it came out in theaters.
La Chimera?
Yeah,
La
I had
Chimera?
no idea.
Yeah, they weren't showing it at, like, AMC's.
Oh,
or
okay,
maybe,
okay.
like, opening weekend, but most of the time it was, like, in indie theaters, and I just kept putting it off. Okay, well, here's the thing. I am a Josh O'Connor stan now.
Yeah, wait, give a little context about the movie.
Okay. Of the...
Yeah, like, what is it?
Like, I'm still kind of confused about it. But...
Okay.
No. I actually
What's
get
the genre?
Like, I guess, like, rom-com.
Okay.
But an Italian one. Like, not an Americanized rom-com. Like, very much like what an Italian's idea of a rom-com would be.
Okay.
And it's, like, sad. Okay, so it's about this guy, his... I don't know if girlfriend or wife, like... They never say really what happened to her, but she's dead. Like, she disappeared or she died. And so he's, like, depressed. Like, he's like, oh, I hate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a grumpy little man. Like, I hate everyone. And, like, he's in Italy, so, like, everything's so beautiful. I'm like, King, like, I get it, but also look around you. Anyways, he is, like, a grave robber. And his little... Wait, girl, it gets crazy. By the way, this happens, like, throughout the movie, but I truly don't think... Unless you're going in it for Josh O'Connor, I don't know how else to pitch it to people.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is kind of like the exciting part, but you don't find out like halfway through.
That he's a grave robber?
No, that you find out like 30 minutes in, but like...
Okay.
So basically he has
You
like...
giving a whole synopsis of the movie.
I'm just going to say this part.
Okay.
Because it's like a main part.
Okay.
He has like a power where he can feel where there's like lost... Like they say like you have the power to find lost things. That's like what they say in Italian.
Like physical things or like lost?
Well,
right. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he like starts falling in love with this other woman. Whatever. Anyways, so I was like, I need to watch this movie just because I'm a Josh O'Connor stan and I can't keep watching Challengers. Well, I can and I will, but like I would love to watch something else.
I need that DVD to come out immediately.
Oh. I fear it's going to be like, it's going to go triple platinum in this household. Like the Willy Wonka movie in my childhood home, like that's going to be Challengers for here.
Oh, wow.
But so I was like, okay, and you watch another Josh O'Connor movie and I'm not going to watch The Crown. Love The Crown.
I think it might ruin him a little bit, no? Because he plays Prince Charles.
I just don't I don't care about the royal family except Princess Diana. Like I don't care.
He's the one that did her dirt the worst.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go watch this. I looked online. There is one theater in LA. It's the La Mer Music Hall. I don't even know how you say it. In Beverly Hills. They show it once a day at a random time. And they're going to stop showing it on June 30th, which is tomorrow.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's literally now or never. Like I have to, because I would much rather watch a movie in a theater than like on my TV.
Yeah.
I love going to movies.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went on this whole expedition. Like I ran all my other errands and right on time, I couldn't find parking. I found parking, whatever. So I go inside the theater or to the little box office and I was like, can I get a ticket for this? He's like, So we like don't have the KPG something.
Right.
So like I guess when you need play a movie in the theater, you need like a key,
A
code.
You do.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at Regal. Even like I remember when I would walk up because like the store, the inventory was like upstairs, like where the things were, and I remember like just looking at the machine. There's literally like a code.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I guess he didn't have the code. And I don't know, like, do they send it every day? I don't know. But he's like, I don't have the code. I emailed them. They haven't sent it to me. You can wait. If the movie was, like, about to start. He's like, you can wait if you want, but I don't know if they're going to send it. So I was like, I mean, I'll wait. Because, like, I already came all the way over here. And I was
to
like,
Beverly Hills from here is also, like,
it's
such
a trek.
mission.
Like, it's literally an expedition. And so I was like, I'll wait. So I waited, like, 10 minutes. Maybe like 15, and then I went back and I was like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, should I just leave? And he was like, they sent over the that they're gonna send it, but they haven't sent it yet. Like, they just emailed, they're like, oh, we'll send it right now, but they haven't sent it. And I was like, so like, am I gonna be able to watch this movie? He's like, how about this, I'll sell you the ticket, and I'll start it as soon as I get it. I'll start it right away, no trailers or anything, and if it doesn't come in, like, I'll refund you.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, period. And I also really needed to go to the bathroom. So I bought my ticket. I went to the bathroom. I walked to the theater. Empty.
Well, yes.
Like, I didn't realize,
that's
like,
why he was like, do you want to wait?
Yeah, like, it's just me. To be fair, this movie, it's like an indie Italian movie that came out, like, 3 months ago.
Literally didn't even fucking, like...
No, it existed.
No, like, when you told me, I literally had to Google it. I was like, what are you talking about?
You know how I found out about it?
Huh?
He's in a picture of Josh O'Connor with, it's the Challengers poster and, like, Chimera poster right under, and he, like... he just looks.
Oh, I saw that picture.
He just looks a little goofy, but it's such a funny picture. So that's how I found out about the movie. So I sit there like 20 minutes, literally making the cover art for Our Hollywood,
right?
In that dark theater by myself.
I know you were sending me like versions of it, and I was like, "Are you not like out?" Like,
yeah, the movie hadn't started,
right?
But it had AC and it was great. And then like after 20 minutes, it wasn't that bad at all. Like the movie just started, and I was like, okay, let's lock in. And I didn't realize most of the movie was Italian, which I do not care.
Was he speaking Italian?
Yes.
Whoa.
Very well. Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know. But it sounded great. Like, I don't know.
He's gorgeous.
He is British in the movie. Like, they're like old Englishmen.
Yeah.
Anyways, I did cry by myself in that theater. And there was something so fun about it.
Okay.
It was just like, once I realized what was going on and like what they were trying to say, I was like I literally gasped out loud in that theater by myself, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I would have a hard time recommending it because the first hour is like a little bit tough to get through.
Right.
But yeah, Josh O'Connor is so good.
I want to know if there's any other people in Los Angeles that also tried to see this movie in the way that you did.
When I was waiting, a guy came up and he was like, "Can I get a ticket for this?" And the guy explained the situation for him, and he's like, "Okay, can I just get a ticket to this?" Like, he gave up. But I was like, I don't want to see, like, I've already seen some of these other ones, and I also don't want to see these other ones. Like, I'm here for this.
Right.
But it was great. Josh O'Connor.
How much was the ticket?
$9.
What?
Yeah.
Hella cheap. Okay.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to, like, actually, that's not true. I love indie theaters. Like, I do have A-list, but I love going to a small theater.
Yeah, me too.
Period. That's it. That's what I saw. It was a whole expedition. I would say it was worth it.
Okay.
Just because, like, who doesn't love a private screening?
Literally.
Like, it was so fun.
Was it a big theater or no? It was little.
It was like one of the smaller AMC ones.
Okay.
But it was great. It was also so beautiful. Like, I literally walked out and I was like, the sunlight. Like, the way that director filmed, like, the sun out.
Italian
it's literally
Italian
like Italians. Like, I'm like, I guess I just, like, as an American, because I walked out and I was like, look how the light hits the chilies. Like, it's not the same, but still.
The beauty and the mundane, you guys.
It's like, have you seen that tweet? That's like the European mind can't comprehend this. And it's like a screen grab with like 1,000 businesses, and like, it's like McDonald's, Taco Bell.
That makes me ill. Yes, I know. It makes me ill. I want to be a European mind. Oh. Anyways, so what I watched this week, really exciting, honestly.
When I saw this on your story, I was like,
I'm so sorry. And then I looked at Letterboxd and it's on your what you want to watch. Yeah. And I literally, I don't know why I thought you were like keen on like the Academy website, like me. I literally checked that whole like, oh wow.
I usually check like the like American Cinematheque. I check
Yeah.
those daily, but for some reason I just don't check.
You
those
need to
out.
look at the Academy summer programming. It's cunt.
Really?
Like they ate that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyways, so I'm an Academy Museum fan. Honestly, like it's such like a beautiful. I mean, they donated hella money to it, but like,
wait, do you like the actual museum itself?
I've never been to the actual museum, but the theater's 8.
Okay.
So I went to go watch The Living End by Greg Araki.
Okay.
Because I've been on like the Academy Museum website because their summer programming 8 down. And I went there to go see I tried to go get like my book signed by Sofia Coppola.
That was a story time.
No, it really was. And like maybe we'll have to get into like our story times with like filming, like going to like screenings and like, you know, I feel like that would be interesting.
That would be a good episode,
That'd be so fun. And like people love story times.
Yeah.
And so I went there, but it was in a different theater. It was in like the smaller one downstairs. But this movie screening was in the Geffen Theater, which is that giant orb. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I didn't know it was a theater.
Yes, it's a theater.
Isn't it like a balcony?
No.
Because I've been up there.
Well, maybe the top half is a balcony,
yes,
but
yes,
then
yes.
the bottom part, because
It's
you
a
had
theater.
we had to go downstairs to get to
that
the
makes sense.
theater.
It's like cut off like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the theater is in that orb.
Love
And it's
that.
huge and
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's all red in there. It's the screen is huge.
Have you been to the City Walk IMAX? The 30.
No.
Okay, I would love to know like size comparison.
Right. But like when I tell you like I need my glasses to see movies, I didn't even need them. Like
was,
that's
like,
how
right here.
it was. Well, it wasn't even right here. It was literally just like the screen was that fucking big.
I love that. I love when the screen like fills your peripheral. Like,
Literally. Yes.
not
yeah.
Screen X, but like.
Forget R.I.P. the dome, the Cinerama dome.
I think Quentin Tarantino bought it, but I don't know. Quentin Tarantino's gonna own all the movie theaters in
And
LA.
like fine.
I don't care. Someone as long as
Someone's gotta do
buying
it.
them, yeah.
Seriously. So watch The Living End. I've never watched a Greg Araki movie in my life. So this is my first one.
Period.
And I was like, when I was looking at the website, I saw that he was going to be there. And I was like, wait, cunt, I love going to screenings with the director. Or if anybody involved with the movies there, like, I want to go.
Yeah.
Of course. And my friend Q, that's his favorite director is Greg Araki. Like, I sent it to the group chat and was like, does anyone want to go this with me? And then our friend was like, oh my God, that's Q's like literal favorite director.
Yeah.
Invite him. And he was so excited. I just love like watching people like engage with shit that they
Yes.
really love
Yeah.
type shit. Like, it was just like so nice. Like, he was so excited. He was like so happy. Like, such a good vibe. Anyways, we go watch the movie. I'm seriously gagged. It's like he had 2 movies out before that, but they were like black and white and like $5,000 budget. So The Living End was like his 3rd movie, but like first in color, and he had like a $20,000 budget for it. And this is the one thing I'm gonna like say about Greg Araki. Like, oh my God, he's like this is like why I'm like, and if you're a pretentious fucking artist, like, why do you have to do that? Because his movies are so like thought-provoking, hella deep, and like you would assume like he's just a hella pretentious ass director, right? He's so sweet and caring, and he loves engaging with the people that love his work, and like he's not pretentious about it all. He's still funny, and he still has a love for life.
Yes.
Like, despite all of like his dark, like, because I know it's like really dark, like very like introspective, like apocalypse, like end of the world, like death, like that's a lot of the themes in his movies. But like he's such a lovely person, like, and that's why I'm so tired of the artist narrative that you have to be like brooding and like live and breathe your art. Like, girl, no, you don't. Like, that's the whole part of life, is that you can experience both. Like, why are you putting yourself in the confines of that? Like, why are you not going to experience the joy of life? You're here.
It's also like, yes, I absolutely agree, because I feel like his movies are so like, they can be bleak and violent and like dark,
And
but they're
The
so
Living End
colorful.
was.
Oh,
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it was so colorful.
Yeah.
Well, this was his first movie experiment with color, and like it just like really inspired me as a filmmaker, because he's like literally everything in this movie. Like, it was literally like him, the actors, the producer that gave him like the money to do it, and like maybe a sound guy. Like, he was like all the set design, all that stuff was like literally just things that we all had.
Yeah, period.
And I was like, period.
Yeah.
And like, I just also love the way he shoots things. Like, oh my God, I love a hella headroom. Like I
Period.
love when the bitches like are literally at the bottom screen and like
I love
like,
it too.
everything
Yeah.
around. Like I was like, wow. It just like was very inspiring and like I love like the mixing of surreal with like life and like because like you know
Yeah.
like especially like that concept because okay so the concept, do you know what it's about?
I haven't seen that one.
It's like basically this, he's a movie critic, which is so
Okay.
funny. He's a movie critic, but he's like kind of like, you know, he's not like super famous or anything. He's
Okay.
just like, he's just doing it to get by. And he gets diagnosed with AIDS. So it's like literally just like, what do you do after that? Because at that time, like, it's like, okay, you have AIDS. It's just like, when are you going to die?
Yeah.
You could die literally tomorrow. You could die in like a couple years. Like,
Yeah.
they just didn't fucking know. And there was like actually no support. And everybody just literally wanted you to die because they thought it was like the most disgusting thing ever. It was like crazy. And then he meets this other guy. I forget their names now. John and Luke, I think, or something.
What's the movie called? Living End?
The Living End. I think it's John and Luke. Yeah, it's John and Luke. And like it's just so interesting because they're so very different, but like I don't know how to explain it. Like it was just, it's such a crazy movie. It, like people like to say like it's like Thelma and Louise but like gay and like chaotic, but like
Love.
it's like I get the comparison obviously because like I get it, but like
Is it a
it's
road trip
so
movie?
different. Part of it is.
Oh, I love road trip movies.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
if you're gonna
crazy.
watch it.
It's no, you have to watch it. It's literally so good. Like I walked out of the theater like wow. And then we met him after.
Period.
Well, because literally what he was like, I need to bring like my Dude Generation like VHS to get it signed. And I was like, and then that was literally the mission. I was like, mission Q meet Greg Araki.
Period.
Like we were literally like, that was the whole thing. And so like when we waited in line, they were like, oh wait, the like museum has to close in like literally 10 minutes and like everybody's trying to spill their whole life story. Of course, like you're meeting your hero, whatever.
Okay.
And but we were like, come on guys, like we have to get Q to like meet these. And James Duval was there as well. Yeah, that's who I was standing next to in the picture.
I didn't even, girl. I saw Greg Araki and
I was literally like arm in arm with James Duval. It was so kind.
Wait, show me the picture. Guys, this will be on the Our Hollywood Instagram if you do want to see it.
Yeah, so like we literally got Q, like Q went first and like had the moment, and literally like all of us were like taking pictures
Was
and
there
videos
more
for him.
people out there with you guys?
What do you mean?
Like,
Yeah, it was like a whole
okay.
line to meet him.
Oh,
he literally
wow.
announced like after the Q&A, he's like, oh, I'm gonna be in the lobby for a little bit. Like he's amazing. Like I love him.
Yeah.
Like who does that? And like yeah, he waited and I mean, we were kind of close to the end, so I'm sure he talked to everybody. Anyways, but yeah, we like got Q to go meet him, and like literally all of us were taking pictures and taking videos of the situation, and then they turned around to like take like a picture together, and then Greg Araki was like, "Whoa!" He was like, "You have like," he literally told Q like, "You have amazing friends." Like that is so sweet, and yeah, he was just like, whoa, like everyone's taking pictures, like wow, like, and I was like, yeah, because this is like the moment.
deal,
This is
yeah.
the moment, like so crazy. And yeah, and then we took a group picture after because we wanted to be mindful because we wanted everybody, because I don't know, like be considerate of the people around you
Mindful of
challenge,
the-
like which is so
yeah.
impossible for LA film people to like do. No offense.
Oh, girl.
Like that's we
girl.
literally have to do an episode about it because
Yes.
like it's insane because we're like, yeah, we're like excited to be there, but we're not gonna trample upon others to like get what we want
also,
type
like,
shit, because it's like
He said,
think about like how crazy you look.
yeah. He said, I'm gonna go out there, chill out. Like,
It was relative. This was one of the more chiller ones, I'll be real,
there's
but like
been-
still like I was like, okay guys, like there's a whole line, like I understand he means so much to you, but he means a lot to a lot of people in
Yeah,
this line. Like
yeah.
be mindful of like that kind of stuff.
But I
and
love
like
that
he's such a nice king.
yeah.
He'll just keep talking because he genuinely is interested and genuinely cares. But like it's like when you're the like fan in that interaction and see that whole line behind you, like yes, have your moment, but also be mindful that like so many other people in that line
Yeah.
want to have their moment. Like
Yeah.
you know, like
No, I agree.
anyway, so yeah, we got in the group picture and then we like left and we were just like, way.
Period.
It was so cute.
Did
It
he
was so
sign
cute and
the-
wholesome. Yeah.
Ugh,
He signed
love.
like him and James signed the Doom Generation.
Speaking of, I
pages.
just remembered that they announced Greg Araki Criterion
Mhm.
collection.
Mhm.
That movie's not in it, but it's totally fucked
Yes,
up.
it is. No.
No, it's
Oh.
totally fucked up. The Doom Generation and Nowhere.
Oh, okay. No, that is
Um,
the Doom Generation. It is in there.
No, but I mean The Living End.
Oh yeah, the Living End
Yeah,
is not in there.
But I don't think it's out yet though. No, September 24th.
Yeah.
But love. We should do an episode on him.
Oh my
Like
god,
a
I
deep
would
dive.
love.
Also, I
I need to watch all of his movies.
Period.
Like I literally am obsessed.
Like I feel like we could get him on the pod.
So we can. Anyways,
And he
so
would,
and we're
and the
back,
thing is he
and we
would.
can. There's
And
a
the
way. There's a way that we can maybe.
I think we
Wait.
could.
Whoa.
Okay.
And James at that.
Period.
They show up to so many screenings of their shit. Like
Okay, let me tell you this. When I went to go see All of Us Strangers at Beyond Fest, they were there, and I did not see them. That theater
Greg
was
Araki?
Yes.
he literally hangs out with this cast. Like
Love.
after all these years. That just shows. You know what I
yes,
mean?
I love when the directors, the actors love the directors.
Mhm.
Like, I love that.
Mhm.
Guys, stay tuned for when Greg Araki's on the pod.
The literal shirt was open this whole time.
Okay, well, guys, happy Pride Month.
Happy
Oh,
Pride
wait,
Month.
just kidding. This is July, but still Pride.
No, it's Pride in
Whatever.
San Diego.
You're right. Yeah, we should do. Okay, yeah, let's do a Greg Araki episode.
Wait,
I
I'm
would
so
love to watch
excited.
all these other
It's
movies.
definitely gonna take a second because we have to find all his shit to like watch.
Girl, the public library. I already
Wait,
requested one of them.
Okay, yeah, I'm down. I need to
Okay.
watch Nowhere immediately.
That's the one I haven't seen.
I need to watch it
Yeah.
immediately. That's his most popular, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mysterious Skin also
Yeah.
is.
I've
wait,
heard
what
that
did you
one's like
say?
really dark.
That's what I heard too. I
So
don't
like
know.
maybe let's like build up to I kind of want to go chronological now that I've started at the beginning,
Oh, that's fun.
you know?
Okay.
Okay.
He doesn't have that many.
No. Also they're showing Kaboom, which is one of his at the New Bev on Saturday
What?
at midnight.
Why midnight?
They love a midnight screening at the New
And
Bev.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
but maybe I'm down.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways,
Greg Araki stan. Like I'm literally I love discovering like a new director or like a new movie that literally inspires me. Boots.
Yeah.
I
well,
love
that's
it.
like the point. Like
That's the
to
whole
me,
point.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what a successful movie if like people leave that movie and they're like, oh, I need to go make art.
Mm-hmm.
Like that person's art was so good that I need to go do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Greg Araki, we stand.
Stan.
We do stand. Well, that's
Let's
what we
get
watched
into
this
it.
week. Yeah. I need to give a little background to why we're doing this episode. What inspired this? Also, I feel like this is our most risque episode. Have we ever talked about anything like this before?
Yeah, we talked about sex positivity in something.
I guess
I
that's
remember
true.
talking about sex
in
positivity.
the body like positivity episodes
Maybe.
or like body image or whatever.
I don't remember. I remember talking a lot about sex positivity at some point though.
Period. And we ate with that.
Still working on it. Because you know, like when you grow up religious, like you have so much to unpack with that type
Well,
of
yeah.
shit. So like, period. Anyways, give your context.
Okay, so this all kind of started at least recently. The whole reason this topic was brought up was because Penn Badgley of Netflix's You
And Gossip Girl.
and Gossip Girl started saying some things on a podcast, and it sparked a whole debate on social media that is low-key still going.
Really?
Yes, I still see things about it. I'm like, oh my
Whoa.
god. But I'm going to read you his exact quote. So he said, "Fidelity in every relationship, and especially my marriage, is important to me. And yeah, it just got to a point where I didn't want to do that." He was talking about sex scenes in You, because You has a lot of sex scenes.
Yeah.
And Badgley was married in 2017, and while he didn't say any of these scenes put a strain on his marriage, he did say they might negatively impact his career. The actor expanded on this idea, saying, "I mean, think about every male lead you've loved. Are they kissing someone? Are they doing a lot more than that? It's not my desire to." Which,
Wait, I literally was like, he's a Scorpio, huh? And yes, he is a Scorpio.
love that.
Scorpios rule of genitalia. So like maybe I don't know.
What?
I feel like maybe somehow it's tied to that, like astrologically.
Okay. Period. I believe you.
Woo woo. Like I literally feel woo woo when I like
Well, like, no one really knows anything, so, like, maybe. Like, maybe.
it could be.
Yeah. And then he also said,
maybe that like impacts his thoughts about sex and like.
Well, I'm sure like this didn't come out of nowhere.
Right. I know. Like I just wish we had more context, but obviously probably.
It's like personal, but it's also like, okay, we'll get into this later. I'm just kicking off the, because this is kind of what kicked off the whole conversation on social media. And he said, and guess what? Sometimes it doesn't have to do anything but make you hot. Oh wait, just kidding. This is from something else. This is from the article that I was reading, where it was kind of like an opinion article disagreeing with Penn Badgley.
Yeah.
And whatever. I'll get into that later. But so this sparked a whole conversation on social media about the necessity for sex scenes in film and TV, and some people were like, sex scenes are so unnecessary, blah blah blah, and some people were like, you need sex scenes in movies. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And we have a few different examples of like movies, TV shows, also like subgenres of sex scenes,
right?
And we'll get into that, but I'm gonna post a few articles on, I guess, the Instagram.
Yeah.
Just like a few little resources that I read preparing for this. There's an article about intimacy coordinators, which I thought was a really good read. And
yeah, I read all of them. They're all interesting.
Yeah, the intimacy coordinator one was really interesting. Because I also didn't really know like what do they do.
Right.
Like I was like, so what exactly are you doing here? Like are you just making sure nobody puts a hand where they shouldn't? And like kind of yes, but like it's also like choreography and like, okay.
They like compared it to like a stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we feel like it's important for us to give context on our current mindset, because I do think that informs our opinions on this. Because in the past, I was listening to some of our old episodes and I'm like, I literally don't know why I said this, but it's because of, like Kamala Harris said, you exist in the context of what you are and what came before you, or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Okay, how are you feeling about this?
About this?
About life and how your current mindset will pertain to this topic.
Well, I just feel like I've just been back-to-back terrible scenarios with people that I've been seeing. So like I feel like, well, I don't know, like I didn't have sex for, I'm like, my family. I don't care. They know. Well, if they don't, like, grow up. Sorry, like, grow up.
No, like, what did you think was
going
on?
I just feel like, in general, I have a weird relationship with sex. Like, I feel like the, like, religious trauma of it all. The first guy, want to
say this?
Yeah, okay. I don't really care.
No, I was just...
The first guy I was ever with, like, intimately, like, literally passed away, like, while we were seeing each other. Like, so I have a lot of, like, shit associated with it, and then, like, just, like, terrible, like, hookups, like, after that, because, I mean, that is, like, literally so traumatizing. Yeah. And then the most recent thing, like, literally, I mean, I won't get too much into that because it literally just happened, but, like, I already know it's gonna affect me, and like that's the shitty part. Like, of course, because it was like the first person after the. I'll just beat about his name, I guess. The first person after that I was also like seeing consistently, and like having sex with. So like, and then it ended like. I mean, it's still happening, but like, it's just not great,
right?
You know, and it just like I feel like, not to get like too businessy, but like in my business, but like I just feel like I keep on getting in situations where like I'm trying to be vulnerable with the people I'm like trying to date and see, like, and it just feels like nobody's like actually hearing me on what like my trauma is, and it feels insane, and I feel insane. So that's like where my context is, like, because I feel like the thing, like, I feel like we do have like similar opinions, but they are also really different.
Yes, yeah.
And well, you're like, also in a completely different space than I am.
But also, you're a woman.
Yeah.
I'm a man. Like, even that in itself, because you do bring your baggage to the art you consume. 100%. So not even just baggage, just like your background, I guess. And so I do think that's why it's important that we like kind of lay the groundwork a little bit, just so that you know where we're coming from. But
like literally, if we did this podcast like 3 months ago, I would have had a completely different.
2 years ago, I would have been
God.
like, Penn is right.
Yeah, no.
I'd be like,
No,
Ken has
literally.
a point.
Literally, when I drop a lore to you, like once we get into this,
Yeah.
like it's crazy to think about because I literally forgot I did this until like I was like reading through one of the articles and I was like,
scared.
wait, I forgot I did that. Anyway,
Um,
and that's the thing is like we're in our 20s. This is literally like, I mean, you never stop evolving and your opinions
Yeah.
should never stop changing. Like that's why we are in the place we are in a
Mhm.
society because people don't want shit to change.
period.
Anyways, so yeah, where are you at?
Well, okay, so I just came out like a year ago. So that's what I'm saying. Like 2 years ago, like I was so deeply in the closet that like I just didn't want to like even approach the topic of sexuality in like a meaningful way. But like coming out, and also I've been in a relationship for 2 years now. So that also I had never been in a committed relationship before.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah, I've never been in a committed relationship as well,
yeah, well, that also
but like
adds,
still actively.
Well, that also adds context because, like, you know, sex with a partner versus like
Just
a
hooking
hookup
up.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But also, like, it also okay. I was thinking about this. You need to watch movies by yourself because I've looking into this topic. I was like, I think a lot of the problem here is people are watching too many movies with their parents or too many movies with like family members or like friends where they don't talk about that, like and I think that's what's creating the discomfort when approaching these kind of scenes, when I just don't think they're okay. Here's something my mom would always say, like when they would ask, like, and like when I was like younger, she would always say, I'd much rather them see like sexuality on screen than violence because one is natural and the other is not. I think that is kind of where I'm at with it, where like I don't understand what the kind of, I don't know where this puritanical like mindset came from when we are literally all here because two people had sex.
Right.
Like no, and those situations can vary so much, but human life literally only exists because of sex. And I don't understand like where this sort of negative connotation to it came from. Well, I guess I do, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now. I'm just like, I don't understand.
I also think like the time that we were born like is so like I think about like people that are older than us, like not even by that much, like even like a 10-year older, like we grew up in such like a, I mean, they say this in the articles too, we grew up in such like a sexualized time, like where like shit was literally just like sensationalized like crazy.
Do you remember the first sex scene you saw?
No.
Okay, I do because I was with my whole family.
Oh wow.
But it was like, so there was this show called V. It was a sci-fi show about like aliens coming to Earth, and under their skin, like they look like humans, but under the skin they're like reptiles, whatever. They rebooted it, and it was the season 1 finale. It was like the first like, I guess, kind of adult show I saw. I don't remember what year it came out, but in one of the last episodes, like one of the main characters has sex with like a human, and then kills him.
Oh.
And I saw that in the living room with my entire family, and I literally was like, I must have been like 10, 9.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's a lot.
I know. That's honestly crazy that you bring that, because I never watched that type of stuff with my family because they were so Christian boots. Like I literally wasn't even about to watch like Harry Potter type shit. Like very I mean, I guess the first like sexual type scene I saw was in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like they're just heavily making out.
Yeah.
Type shit, I guess.
As
but
a
like,
kid, you're also like,
no, literally gag. I was like, whoa. But that's crazy you say that, because the guy that I was most recently seeing, he literally was like, yeah, I feel like sometimes like I feel desensitized to things because I like we watch so many like violent and like sexual things like growing up, like movie wise.
Interesting. Because I don't feel that way.
Right. Well, he's also a straight male, so.
Well, also, I also think internet access it heavily impacts, and that's why I'm so scared for this like generation. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are saying online, because sometimes I see things online and I'm like, oh, why is this online? And like, imagine seeing that as a child.
I know.
Yeah. Wow, guys.
Damn, hella got deep. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's kind of like this one was gonna get deep regardless.
Of course. Like literally, we had this scheduled like a week ago, and then literally shit just hit the fan in my personal life.
Times,
yeah, and literally today I could have pushed it again because of the shit that just got dropped. But like, I was like, and you know what? Fuck it. Like, fuck it, you guys. Like, it's never the pain never ends. You just have to get through it.
Period. Yeah. But yeah, so I did find a few more articles. There's a GQ article about how sex scenes are shot. Well,
I thought something interesting to note was in 2017 was the first time like a intimacy coordinator was credited and like used, but that was like in the
GQ one.
No, that was in the other one, the one about intimacy coordinators. But then in the GQ one, they were like, yeah, it happened in 2017 after the Me Too movement. And I think that bit of context is so very important. And you know what's crazy? It was on a movie with James Franco.
I don't think that's crazy. I think
right.
That makes
well, like, it makes a lot of sense, but like, well, like
girl.
that was the craziest part about the well, not even the craziest part. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened with the James, because I used to be a James Franco like stan. Yeah. And that's why, like, I was really confused not confused, but like, I was really like, what? Because he was very much like wearing the Me Too pin, like, and like, I mean, that doesn't mean shit, but like, damn, that like really fucked with my little like preteen head when that happened.
You were like, I cannot believe this.
Well, also, it's like, if you think about, like, you always hear stories about, like, female actors, like, yeah, this director, like, did this really horrible thing to me. Mm-hmm. But, like, there was no rule. Like, girl, Megan Fox in Transformers. Right. The things she went through for that movie, and, like, girl, like, male directors could get away with so much. The things that she's gone through
with just, like, being her is, like, kind of insane.
So that's why, like, intimacy coordinators, I'm so glad for. Because
it
was much needed. In fact,
but 2017 was not that long ago.
No.
Not even a decade ago.
No.
That is so insane to think about.
I wrote, okay.
But isn't it crazy though, like, even after the Me Too movement and everything, like, it's still like, I mean, it's definitely better, but like, you know, I don't know how to like.
Well, not much has improved in terms of the cultural mentality against.
That's what. Yeah, thank you for finishing that
survivors.
Thought. Right.
Because I
survivors of any like of women, and then like even men, it's like even farther behind because like men.
Yeah, you think, and it's because we're like I guess kind of in a bubble, but like for example, like this recent Cody Co Tana Moja thing. I know, sorry for the internet lore, but
whoa.
I was looking like at comments on a video and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I just forgot that people still think like that. Young people.
Yes.
It's so scary. I'm like, I don't, because I'm just not on that side of the internet. And then when something like seeps through on TikTok or whatever.
I watched a TikTok yesterday of this, like, it was like, can like more women talk about like losing somebody to red pill content? And then like she like told this whole story about her like male best friend, and then like in the comments, like I'm assuming they're a man. I mean, you could be whoever you want on the internet, but like they were like, yeah, like even like for me, like I don't even engage with red pill content, but like it's crazy how much gets pushed out to me because I'm a man.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there is a study that I'll also link this on our Instagram, where they found out that Gen Z wants less sex in film and more like friendships and that kind of stuff, which like fair.
Yeah.
So fair.
Hard agree.
But I wrote, I do think this attitude comes from the over-sexualized state of the internet. However, I would much rather have people engage in conversation over sex in art and what it means for the characters, as I think it could result in important conversations about sex and consent in real life.
That's interesting because I just don't think like many people engage with art that way.
No, they don't.
And so it's like, I agree with you, but like that's just not how people are like.
No, yeah.
I mean, you're going to insert yourself into whatever you're watching.
Yeah.
You're going to try, because that's the whole point, is like you're trying to relate to whoever's on the screen. If you can't relate, then whatever. That's why men hate anything having to do with women lead characters, because they refuse to relate with women because it's anyways.
Well, yeah. And so, okay, I found this other article that was like kind of a response, and it was like, it's a Stylecaster article, and sex scenes in film and TV are actually a good thing, Gen Z. It said, without these cinematic sex scenes, many of us would only get our sexual education from pornography.
Up. Come on.
Go.
Okay.
Guys, Henry's on the pod.
Henry's on the pod. Hi, Henry. Even though you just bit Harry Styles' tail. Anyway, I said, mind you, I wrote this like in a state. So like I really don't even know. Anyways,
Okay. Let's
Gen
find out if you
Z,
agree with
yeah,
it.
let's see. Like literally a couple hours ago, Gen Z wanting to see more platonic friendships than sexual and romantic. I do think it would help with dating. I feel like it's so much worth is put into romantic relationships, which yes, they are important, but there's so much worth in cultivating platonic friendships or relationships. I definitely don't think we shouldn't have any sex scenes, but both types of relationships need to be equalized in the media.
Okay, period.
Yeah, I just
agree.
feel yeah. I was like, yeah, I ate. And I ate.
You're like, okay, I did
Okay, I
eat.
ate. But also like, I think this is more so like when we talk about Oppenheimer, this is kind of like another. That's what I'll say that part. But I just feel like, especially between like men and women, like it's like the only ones that come to my mind. Like, it's so hard for me to think of like a platonic relationship between a man and woman that's like they're both straight. It's normally like a girl and a gay man. Like
The Bear. Just because I just was watching that recently.
right, and that's the thing. But that's just happening right now.
And everyone still wants them to date, including me. Which, like, I get it. Like, I
See,
do.
like, I'm such a platonic relationship truther. Like, now I have to move it. I'm like, that's why, like, for me, like, I get it because they're both, like, so gorgeous and beautiful. And I think their characters, yes. But, like, I'm like, no, leave it platonic.
Which I'm fine with.
I know. I feel like I'm such in the minority, though, about it. Because literally, I remember saying that to somebody. And they're like, so you just don't want. And I was like, whoa, who said all that? I was like, I just think, like, this is such a great platonic relationship to have. Yeah. Of course. And, like, I think like the distinct, like it's just like, just because you have such a strong emotion with somebody doesn't mean you have to date them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it. Like, I just, oh my God.
And straight, it's hard for straight people to learn that. I do agree with that. Well, it's actually interesting because I didn't even think of that. But it's because the way I feel like I approached it from more of a queer lens. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I forgot, like, not about straight people, but about how straight people engage in romantic relationships, because that is very different.
I'm victim. Everyone's a victim. Everyone's a victim. Everyone's a victim, I know, but like I'm actively living through the oh God.
Yeah, interesting. And like I also was thinking about just the difference in just the direction of a sex scene depending on whether it's a female or male director. Like, it's so jarring.
Yeah.
But it's also like maybe that is just how different genders and sexualities actually view the sex that they're having.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know.
I'm always trying to put myself into other people's point of views, and I think that's why I love watching movies and like television so much, is because I love seeing other point of views. But like when it comes to sex, I just don't think there is that many point of views that we're seeing.
Period.
Bar. Well, clip that.
Okay. Speaking of that, when I got out of I Saw the TV Glow, I was like crying. I was like, that was like the saddest movie I've ever seen. And literally the lights came up and the guy was like, that was so boring. This guy behind me, a straight man. And that's just where I was like, if you want to be a good creative or like an artist or director or writer, you have to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes.
A consumer, a person.
Literally just a person for empathy.
Yes.
If you don't have like that ability, then I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know.
We're so fucked.
Yeah.
Totally fucked up, Araki.
Okay, what do you think about Penn Badgley?
Well, there's one more quote that I wanted to pull from
the
Stylecaster. Yes. They said at the very end, I personally don't want to see the sex scene go. I want to see the sex scene become something better than it has been, something more creative, liberating, and authentic than we've ever known, which just like, again, like coming back to like the point of view, like I just don't feel like there's many point of views, but I do remember like when Booksmart came out. Also, that's another note, like most of the examples we're going to talk about today are very recent.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's the most like, what did you say? You were like, it's the most like pressing, like this is like the new landscape of like what we're seeing.
I wanted to talk about like specifically 2010s up, even like 2000, whatever. I mean, that was such a different time for sex scenes in media, but just recently, because I feel like that's what people are talking about when they're discussing it on social media.
Yeah.
And 100%. So that's why I wanted to talk, because I was like, girl, we're not getting into the Hays Code today.
No.
So we're going to
look up the Hays Code, you guys. But then I was thinking, it made me think of Booksmart when it came out, because so many people were like praising the like, it's not even a sex, I guess it is a sex scene. I can't remember. Yes, it was a sex scene.
At the party?
Yeah, in the bathroom. Yeah, that was a sex scene. And people were just like, that was hella refreshing because it was hella awkward and like very like innocent. Like it was really like, especially when it comes to that was crazy.
No.
When it comes to like women on women sex scenes, especially like I feel like it's so like rolling around and like giggling and like but like no, like it's hella awkward, right? Yeah, you agree. It's like really like
the dog is being crazy.
Yeah, he's being crazy. He's being like an attention freak.
Yeah, he's like, why is no one talking to me? I'm like, we're clocked in.
But yeah, I feel like that was a sex scene that I thought of that is honest and is authentic and liberating. Because I think that's the whole point of having sex scenes is to make people not feel alone in that journey, I guess. Come here.
Come on, jump. Come on, jump. All right.
And chill.
And you're going to take a nap now.
All right, I agree with you actually. And we do have a bit more of. I didn't mean like that. We do have a bit more about like queer sex.
The battery already dying.
Yeah, crazy. It's been almost an hour already.
Wow.
But it's okay because the other stuff is not really. I mean, it's kind of just like stuff we have to mention, but it's not. Yeah. Okay. So Penn Badgley's comments, as I mentioned earlier.
Girl,
you need to chill out.
Okay. Bye.
How do you feel about his comments? What is up with you, girl? He's like, someone pet me, Henry. Because I personally, I get it, and obviously, like, if an actor doesn't want to do that, don't do it, right? Like, that's so. However, I also feel like if I was dating an actor, you have to know that's kind of like part of the job. Like, they're not actually.
Well, I mean, you can pick whatever projects you're a part of, you know. Well, kind of. In the beginning, when you get an offer, you got to do it. You know?
But also, like, for example, like we're going to talk about Euphoria. Also, like they told him when they gave them the job, like, you will most likely have to be nude. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
And like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fair, like, so
but
fair.
Also, like, who are they to deny a job? You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Because I think also they probably think they have that conversation with themselves. They're like, well, this is a part of the job, but then like you have to take in consideration your own boundaries as well. But because like I think because it's such like a new concept, like having intimacy coordinators and stuff like that, like it's just like a different thought, I guess. Like Penn Badgley like was in Gossip Girl, which is one of the most like raunchiest like teen shows in the world. Like they didn't have intimacy coordinators on there, and they were all actually dating and fucking. Like that was probably a trip. You know, that's what I was thinking about in specifics with Penn Badgley. I'm like looking at his like almost saying discography. His discography. A lot of his stuff is very like sexual.
But also like, so he says like specifically like fidelity is important to him, and I just like, I guess it's kind of up to each couple to like decide what and what isn't cheating, but I just feel like it's not. I feel like viewing it.
Well, let's look at history when it comes to celebrities. Like, yes, like when men have sex scene with their co-star, guess what happens? They break up with their girlfriend and then either move on to the co-star that they had the sex scene with. Or
can men really not be good enough actors to like separate that moment from real life?
No.
Girl, Henry, you need to chill out.
He agrees. No, they can't.
That's crazy. So then that's literally
the straight male brain needs to be discussed. Like, I am genuinely perplexed.
I just don't know. I thought this whole thing was very weird to me, but yeah, I guess I don't really have much to say about it. There was an article like kind of disagreeing with him, and they said, and guess what? Sometimes it doesn't have to do anything but this was about like the necessity for sex scenes. Sometimes it doesn't have to do anything but make you hot under the collar. Same with nudity. Sometimes it's just there for vibes. Get over it. If talent doesn't want to do it, fine. Some people will do it. Some audiences love to see it. Sex made you a hit. The show a hit, just like it did with 50 Shades of Grey, Magic Mike, and Bridgerton. Bit aggressive in tone.
Totally.
But like, yeah, like if you don't want to do the sex scene, don't do a sex scene. But also, I don't think we need to like remove sex scenes. I don't. Like, if people are like, sex scenes are unnecessary, but I'm like, well, people have sex in real life, and sometimes it's unnecessary. That's just part of life.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few little examples that we'll go through a little bit quickly. because these were some that I saw being discussed a lot online. One of them being Poor Things. 2023 best.
No, that was like the biggest thing. I know. It was hella big, right, Henry?
What was the biggest thing?
Like,
the
so
biggest
many
mention?
people
Yeah.
were like, "Wait, that's the sex scenes are hella weird because of like, she's like Frankenstein boots." Like, you know?
Yes, I did see it being discussed a lot because it is a very sexual movie. Like,
Oh, yes.
very sexual, very, like, but when I was watching it, it didn't, to me, feel exploitative at all, in my opinion. However, a lot of people were like, it was.
Yeah.
Which I will say, okay, here's one thing that I kept seeing as an argument that I just thought was so wrong. People were like, well, she's a child. And, like, I feel like if you, like, in the movie, there's literally a part where they say her hair is growing 3 inches in a day or something like that, which to me shows, like, this is how quickly
her mind
she's
is advancing
aging.
very
Yes.
quick. Yes.
However, she is still really young when the men start to sexualize her, which I think is purposeful. Like,
well, yes.
it's
I'm like, you guys, there's a reason.
there's a point. Yeah.
Yeah.
She ages very quickly is what I'm trying to say. So like by the time she's like actually having like a lot of sex, she's already evolved into like an adult in her head, which is kind of how I saw it. Maybe that's not what it was trying to do, but I don't know. That's just what I
No,
thought
I
was
agree
happening.
with you. I know, because that was like a lot of things, and I was like, I get where you guys are coming from, but also like, that's literally how men infantilize women.
Yeah.
That's literally what they do. And then remember in the movie, like when she started like pushing back and like having boundaries, like moving on, then Mark Ruffalo's character was like, what?
Yeah.
Because she started having her own mind.
Yeah.
Like
all
in her
the
own
men
thoughts.
in that movie are crazy.
No, literally, like as soon as oh god, don't piss me off. I'm like literally like this is the worst time for me to like start talking about this type of shit. But like, yeah, like I thought that was like that's literally one of my favorite movies of recent time because like I just feel like that is literally such a good representation how it is to be a woman in society. Like, but like and that's how it feels sometimes. Like she like it's so devastating to be a human.
Yes.
It's so devastating to be a human and also having to learn about love and also having to learn about yourself and your sense of worth and your morals. Like that shit's crazy. And it does feel like life is moving so fast and your brain is moving so fast, but you still feel like, oh, am I even equipped to do this? That's how I also thought of it as well. So like, I think that's
well, like the part where the second or third, I don't remember. I guess third man, like on the ship, where he like sees her so happy. And he's like, well, I don't want you to be happy. So he literally like drags her off the ship and is like, look at all this human suffering. Like, how can life be beautiful if there's all this human suffering? And she's just like, she like gains consciousness in that moment. But it's like, what a cruel thing to do. But like, also it's gonna happen at everyone. I feel like everyone, well, I guess if your frontal lobe is developed, you'll like that point where you're just like, oh, this world is really bleak.
Yeah.
But like, you just have to
literally
find the beauty in
choose
it.
life, choose happiness, like, and not even like, you know.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the like was it choose life, like that was such a big that was a shirt that like George Michael was wearing, I think.
Maybe. I believe it.
Like
that is crazy lore that like that word.
Well, because in the Living End it was like they had like a shirt that or no, it was a sticker on his car that says choose death.
We should talk about t-shirts in movies.
Oh, totally.
Because I would love just. Oh, I love
life.
that. That is so cute.
Yeah.
Is it from a music video?
I think they were like wearing it during one of their eras. Like that was like their uniform of the era. Choose life. The Wham is so don't even get me started about Wham. I love Wham.
Period. But yeah, so I found an article of Yorgos Lanthimos talking about the director, talking about the sex scenes in Poor Things and just American media in general. He said it was very important that we were true to the character of Bella, and it's very important that she has no shame about anything, not just sex, but her interactions and relationships and the way she perceives the world, the way she wants to experience the world, all of that. Which is very much what I took from it. A lot of people did not.
A lot of people did
not.
A
lot of people didn't. And it's also like you don't have to like a movie, but I'm just like at least I feel like you need to at least grasp what it was saying, and then form an opinion from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of award season 2023, Oppenheimer. People were so mad at Florence Pugh and that scene where it is like I don't know. So there's like a scene in Oppenheimer where Florence Pugh and Mr. Cillian Murphy, who plays Oppenheimer, are like having sex, but then there's like whatever. The movie cuts back and forth a lot, but there's a part where like they're just sitting naked, like talking to each other, and to me, it was so obviously like, oh, this is the only time he's being truthful and real and vulnerable with someone.
Right.
Not a lot of people got that.
No.
But I'm just like,
I just feel like when it's on a screen, people are literally just taking it for face value. But I'm like, it's like basically take that still, and like you could screenshot it, put it on a wall in a museum. When you are engaging with art in a museum, like you're like, oh, there's a reason why the light is hitting this person there, and like whatever. Like you have to like engage with it like that. But people, that's the thing. That's a bigger conversation about just using movies as escapism.
Oh, media literacy. We need to talk about that. Let's talk about that, because girl, you people are not reading To Kill a Mockingbird. You people are not like I don't know. Oh. You people are not like. Are you in your English? Like, what are they doing in English classes? Like, because
like,
I learned about it question, so young.
Like, literally, like even how school is now, like they're not prioritizing literacy in any form because they want people to be malleable.
So scary.
It's so scary.
Well, and also, do you remember when I don't remember where. Maybe I don't remember where, but they like edited the scene so that Florence Pugh was wearing a dress.
No, I did not. What
it's
the
crazy. Florence Pugh. They like here, look. Do you see, they added like a black dress onto her, and people were like, "This is much better." Oh, in countries including India and Indonesia. Because they were like, she doesn't need to be nude for this. And like, Florence Pugh is a great, like, she knows what she's doing. Like, she knows what the importance of that scene is, why they're both naked. People were like, oh, she must be so uncomfortable. I'm like, guys, Florence Pugh is one of the best actors ever.
Right.
I think she knows what she's doing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird how people take
autonomy.
Yes, they're taking autonomy away from like female actors.
Yeah, and infantilizing them.
Yes, I'm like, girl, Florence Pugh knows what she's doing. She knows the art she's making. She understands the importance of this scene. It's also like, free the nipple, like it's not that big of a deal.
Dude, literally.
People, I don't know. Anyways, Oppenheimer. People were so mad about it. But I also want to talk a little bit about the queer sex scene specifically, because that is also a whole other conversation.
Totally.
When My Policeman came out, starring Harry Styles, and this pissed me off. He said in an interview, so much of gay sex in film is two guys going at it, and it kind of removes the tenderness from it. There will be, I would imagine, some people who watch it who are very much alive during this time when it was illegal to be gay, and the director wanted to show that it's tender and loving and sensitive. And I thought, okay, I wrote, I'm a Harry stan, but this was an incredibly ignorant statement, and after watching the movie, ... need to really plan out my thoughts on this, and I didn't, but I think I got it. It's just...
Yeah, break it down, like what made you upset about that?
Well, it's just like, girl, watch a movie. Like, I don't know what, I think he like literally only saw Brokeback Mountain or something, because there's so many movies by queer filmmakers where like they depict sex as they experience it, and it can be like, it's not always tender, but that's just part of the human experience. And like, to say that there isn't tender queer sex in film is like, oh, you did not watch movies. The movie
also, that man is just really bad at interviews. Like because I feel like reading it, like his tone, I remember was like, I was like I
know he thought he was right, but I'm just like, ooh. It was giving when Jojo Siwa was like, I invented a new genre called gay pop.
Yes.
To me, that's very much what this was giving. It's like, oh, a little bit ignorant towards the history of.
Oh, 100%. Well, that's why I'm like, his behind the scenes, I'm like, there's definitely people around him that are like, you're the one innovating.
Oh, yeah.
You're the one.
So yeah, All of Us Strangers, gay movie. Love it. I did write an essay on it for Wigwag magazine, and I'm going to plug it. Because I had a great time writing it, because this movie just means a lot to me. But something that, this was like the first thing I thought of when I was revisiting that Harry Styles interview, where like, this movie does have, you know, spontaneous queer sex. Like, there's that scene where they've just met and they're already hooking up. but it was tender. Like they did have feelings for each other, even though they were strangers at that point. Whatever. There's more sex scenes later on when they're like in love and whatever. But I also don't think. I don't know. It just felt more authentic to me. Maybe that's because I don't know about the director of My Policeman, but the director of All of Us Strangers is a queer man. And this was very like low key self insert, like a little bit.
Totally. And honestly, like those are some of the better movies is when they self insert because
it's like fully real. And so I found an interview. This is with Paul Mescal. It was a Gay Times article, and the tone of the article was a little bit like, I'm not linking this one. It was just like Paul Mescal dishes on that hot steamy scene from that's what it was
like
giving.
BuzzFeed.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know about that. But he said, like, you have Andrew Scott's character Adam, who's in his mid-40s, who has a difficult relationship with his relationship to sex. Harry serves as a safe landing space for him to really re-explore his sexuality, which I think is really moving and really sexy. And then the director said, I know there are people now that feel like we don't need sex scenes in film anymore. What I think people mean is, not to put words in their mouths, they don't want sex scenes that don't have any purpose other than showing sex. There's no reason for that. But lots of us do have sex. Lots of us want to have sex as part of our emotional lives. I don't agree with there's no reason for other than showing. I think it's fine to just have a sex scene. Well, actually, okay, I'm taking that back.
Yeah, I was like...
Sometimes I just have hot takes. I'm actually taking that back.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
Because I'm thinking about it again from a queer lens. Sometimes there are male directors who just want to have sex scenes to sort of objectify that female actor. So I guess, again, I'm just like coming from... Because I'm like, I'm fine if there's a queer sex scene for no reason. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, in real life, if that's what the argument is, like... I mean, even if you're just hooking up with somebody, there's a purpose behind you just hooking up. Like, it's not literally just... sex and that's it. Like there's emotion behind it, even if it's not between you guys. It's like wherever you guys are both coming from.
Yeah,
you know. And
it's like I'm trying to think of an example of like sex in that. I mean, I guess I just haven't seen anything like that in a long time. But for example, like I saw someone bring up Bridgerton and something, but I'm like, I feel like the sex in that show is and I've only seen bits and pieces, but what I have seen, it's like intentional, and also the story, the genre is romance.
Yeah,
that's it's just part
based
of romance.
Off of those, like old women like
smut novels.
No, literally.
Like that's the purpose for the sex 100%. In it. Is because that's what you come here for.
But also it's a lot of desire, and that's something that's why romance for women is such like a big genre, because we don't feel that in our day-to-day lives. Real men. Yeah.
There's a go to fictional men.
Literally. And now we're tired.
I like how we just sigh. Like this whole episode we're just like, ugh.
Well, because it's exhausting. Yeah. It's so exhausting. Like that's like escapism. I mean, media is escapism, like, but also like there's ties to your real life. Like there's a reason why like so many people like Bridgerton are so invested in the story, and like I'm literally like, bruh.
Yeah. The last one I have for this like little section is sex education. I did not watch the last season yet, but apparently there's an article from the website Them. How sex education got its T for T sex scene, right? And I think it's actually the last sex scene in the entire show is between two trans characters, which I thought was so, I love that. Thackeray explained that sex education's directors and actors meet ahead of, this is about like, because sex education is a very, like they do have sex scenes in throughout the show, because that's just the nature of it, but it's always like exploring the awkwardness and the vulnerableness behind exploring sexuality while you're young, which I thought was so refreshing about that show.
Well, I haven't finished it either, but like all the ones that I have watched, I was like, I feel like this is the most honest. Like I literally was like required viewing, like you guys, like I feel like this is something you could show like a teen and it actually like would help, you know?
Yeah, I remember there's that one episode where it was it Eric? He was like about to have gay sex for the first time. He's like, I don't know what to do. Or no, it was one of the side characters. But he was like, I don't know like how to prepare for this. I don't know, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this conversation in a TV show. Or like a movie even. They just know already.
That's the thing. Is like, I feel like there's so much lack of context within sex scenes. Like, I just feel like there's such a responsibility as a filmmaker to do it. And like, granted, I know you only have so much time, but like, I don't know.
It's like that... Okay, this might be too much, but whatever. It's like that joke that people are always like, in Brokeback Mountain, they ate a can of beans and then they hooked up. people are like, that's crazy. But like also, it's not. It's like sometimes when you
They're
watch movies,
cowboys,
you just
like it's different.
right,
Hella different.
right. But yeah, so this was just about like kind of how they choreographed it. At the same time, it's figuring out what their no's were. You know, what do they not want us to show? What do you not want to do? Because then we work around that. And the choreography is based around their consent and boundaries, which I did like that a lot. Referring to it as like a choreographed scene, like a dance.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people view it as that. It's also like I gore in movies and TV shows doesn't gross me out because I'm like, I know it's not real, and I think people need to remember that it's not real.
I'm like, yeah.
Anyways, speaking of sex education, I have a little section that's just kind of like a just quick little discussion about like teen and young adult shows. I put Sex Education versus Euphoria versus Sex Lives of College Girls because I feel like they're drastically different TV shows that show young people exploring their sexuality, and I don't necessarily think one is more true than the others because like Euphoria is like kind of scary and like intense and a lot, but also that is just some people's experience.
That's why it was refreshing when we first heard it, but then like when discussions were like it lost its like sparkle, I guess. But I guess that's with anything. Like Brokeback Mountain was really big for its time. Like all this shit was like big for its time, but like does it hold up like once people like are like, well, yeah, like that's literally everyone's experience, and everyone's like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I don't know, it's like hella weird. But even like Sex Lives of College Girls, like that's literally the title of the show, but it's still like from what I recall, which I have watched both seasons, like it's literally sex that's like you know, like you know, like at the end they're like because it was sex.
And then the blanket goes like over. Is there nudity in that show? It's HBO.
I honestly don't remember.
I didn't know Bridgerton had nudity, by the way. Just I was watching it and I was like,
yeah, there's tits.
I thought it was like a teen show, but no, it's very much like TV ma.
No, like Sex Lives of College Girls, like I just feel like when you have the title like that and you're coming out with a show and like this time, like mama,
like commit.
Yeah, I just like I do like the show, but it just kind of feels like a freeform show. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Like it didn't need to be on Max.
That's all you had to say. And
sorry, and I love Mindy Kaling.
Yeah,
I do love Mindy Kaling, but like I just feel like we're still getting like a PG version of Sex Lives of College Girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am glad though that like this younger generation has this variety in terms of like how they can discover their own sexuality. Like there are people out there who are doing scary things like in Euphoria, and maybe the Euphoria will be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe, hopefully, you can only hope.
But it's like, but Euphoria kind of romanticizes the situation.
It does. It glamorizes it in like a...
Like, you remember like when it came out, everyone's like, I want to be like Jules. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't want to be like Jules at all.
And like...
Hunter Schafer's like, literally, hasn't she said like, wouldn't even be friends with her.
Well, yeah.
I think she's literally said that. Well, yes, because that queen is unruly. And like, I mean, yeah, you are at that age, but like, we're not sitting here romanticizing like what that queen does. Like...
But, yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people do it, but like for people to watch that and have the reaction of like, I want to do that. Like that is scary.
I think it's just refreshing to see like a trans character in like a teen show, but also a trans character that just kind of like sucks. Like,
wait, the way I was like Slade, like.
Just not that great of a person. Like,
yeah,
Slade,
of course,
love that.
Of course.
We don't need like,
and that's what I mean by Slade. Like, she's like multi-dimensional. As
yes, we don't need representation to mean perfect little angels.
Yeah, like
because a lot of people
stop
suck.
with the perfect victim type shit. Like, I just hate like when they talk about Rue and Jules. They're like, they're fucking up. I'm like, Rue's a drug addict, you guys.
Yeah, like she's not
Rue's
okay.
Also going through a lot of shit too. Like neither of them are perfect victims, but that's why I think their love story is so interesting.
Yes,
because that's real. But like, I feel like also sometimes like the artsiness of it all, like sometimes like I feel like directors or whoever's like editing it or whoever's like fucking approving it, like they are favoring the artsiness of it rather than like being fucking for real.
Period.
You know,
I know exactly what you mean. Like they're like, oh, this shot looks pretty and this the lighting in here looks so good, but is there a point where this aesthetic is glamorizing the situation? Like, yes, it looks beautiful, but also how are people gonna interpret this?
But that's the thing is like because it looks beautiful, people are like in the back of their head interpreting it as a beautiful thing when in actuality, mama, like don't do that.
Yeah,
shit.
they're not saying like, oh, maybe there's like a juxtaposition to. They're just saying like, oh, love the toxic, love how toxic they are. Toxic.
And that's why bitches are toxic.
Period.
That's literally bitches are toxic.
Period.
It's like insane.
With
Well, because like I'm like thinking about all the sex scenes that I've ever watched, and it's like, bruh, like I just feel like also like you know how like movies are and like shows are like set up. It's like sex, and then they have bad breakup and they get back together. It's like okay, but like there's so much in between that. Like there's so much like more thought in between that, and like obviously you don't have as much time to do with that, but like mama, like do we need like a fucking I Saw TV Go like assisted like book like to go with the like movie like type shit? Like yeah, kinda 100%. Like I don't know. I feel like that was something like in this past relationship I was in. I was like something that like I was like talking about when we were breaking up was like I just feel like the way movies and television have like shaped the way I perceive relationships, like it's kind of fucked up. Like I just don't even feel like why am I even comparing like what I'm going through like movies and television and like whatever. Like you make up your own rules with like person to person. Like it's like there's no set standard to it. Like
yeah, I agree.
And I feel like that got in the way a lot. I mean, granted, I have different opinions right now, but like when I was reflecting about the situation, I was like, wait, like I also have to take responsibility for how I'm like digesting media and stuff like that, you know? Okay. So, because I feel like when you find a character or a couple that you like in movies and television, like you want to replicate that relationship in some sort of way.
Yeah.
You know? So like I do feel like that part of it is kind of detrimental, but like that's also on like not having like great examples of love like growing up in real life. Ooh. So when you don't have those examples in life like of love, you go to movies and television, which I can guarantee you like especially with Gen Z, mama, we do not have good examples of love in our real life. And that makes me hella sad, and I'm gonna start crying.
You know what? I think you nailed it with that, because I will also say like obviously when I was like discovering my sexuality, obviously I had no
no frame of reference in real life
at all, like at all. And I was just like, well, obviously the religious trauma, I was just like, oh my God, like literally like, okay, tomorrow, Jesus, I'm going to wake up straight. Thanks. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Guess what, guys? That doesn't work. No. And so I was like, okay, plan B, what do I do about this? And so when I go to like film and TV and whatever, and what I remember like in high school, was Elite out yet? Do you remember Elite, the Netflix show? Girl, do not. The damage that did to my brain. Oh, it's just like, you don't need to see all these like.
Also, do you feel like queer relationships are so hypersexualized in media?
Not just in media, girl. Well, it's also different, but like, for queer men, I think it's just like men are already. The way they view sex is so different than women. So when it's two men, like girl, Grindr is a thing. Like just that in general, it's just like so. Well, I just thought I was like, oh, maybe this is just how it is. It's supposed to be like hypersexual or whatever, but also maybe it's not. You can engage in relationships and sexuality literally just how you want to, as long as it's safe and healthy for everyone involved. And it's just hard when the examples we see in movie and TV are like, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're great, and it's just depending on what you consume at a ripe age. Yeah,
I think like even though like I think we need more radical honesty in like maybe that's not like how it's real life, but like a lot of this shit wasn't real life, but you made it up. Like you know what I mean? Like so I think like having. Because I just feel like everyone like is hiding things, and like that's no way to go into any sort of relationship. Well, not even consciously though. Okay. Like you're all moving from like whatever trauma you've had, or like past experience that you've had, past loves that you had. Like, can you tell I'm processing actively a breakup? Okay. Like, can you actually tell?
Ask you this, but do you think like, yes, everyone brings all their baggage to not just their art, but like to relations with other people. But is it our responsibility to have that all presented to like a stranger when like you don't necessarily know, is this gonna go somewhere?
I know.
Like, at what point is it trauma dumping?
I know. That's the thing that I'm like. I'm
You're
just
like, you
hella
tell
confused.
me.
I'm hella confused about that actively right now. Like,
Yeah.
because that was something I was reflecting upon, was just like, you do. I that's the hard part about it, is like, it's weird because it's like, oh, if you don't feel like you have sudden feelings for a person, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, what am I even doing here? But it's also like, honestly, like, I think you have to like earn the respect and trust of the person you're with. Like, I just don't think like you just meet somebody and you immediately are like,
Yeah.
this is it.
And then
I just don't think that's real.
Okay, here's the thing. Sometimes it is, and then guess what? It's dangerous.
Exactly.
Because you are not
like twin flame derogatory.
Yeah, derogatory. Like, you are not. It's an infatuation that like. That's what. Okay, we need to talk about that. Like, infatuation and how it's also presented in media, where it's like romanticized so much, but then when you experience it in real life, it's so intense and so detrimental, and like the come down from that is like crazy. You're like, oh, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And it's just like hormones, guys.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that's even like tying back to the sex scenes part of it. Like, it's just so, yeah, girl. Like,
I'm like, oh, how did we get here?
Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
maybe,
it's all tied together.
Okay, maybe a better title for this episode is Sex and Relationships in film and TV.
Right.
Because I think we talk about that a lot too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand.
You can't, like, if you're having sex with somebody, you have a relation with them in
Yes.
any sense, my love. So it's like you can't talk about sex without relationships.
Yeah. Regardless of how developed they are.
100%. But do you think sometimes people use sex as a form of escapism to like,
well, yes,
to hide their emotions of how they feel, or to like, I guess, like, pause the emotion and be like, well, I like having sex and like I have sex with this person, I feel good, or, like, and like I feel like sometimes that's the confusing part. It's like you have sex with somebody and like maybe that clouds your thoughts about how you feel about them.
Okay, well, yeah, it's hormones.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You're like,
let's talk about that in movies and television. Like, we're like, I just feel like maybe that, like, I guess like that's the whole point of like me bringing this up, is like, where do we go from now?
Yeah, okay.
You know,
I agree.
Because like I feel like because like, oh, my lore drop, mind you.
What?
You know how you had to write an essay to get into college?
Yeah.
My essay was about sex in movies and television, and like like what I would do like if I were to engage, because I was applying, you know, to study film and television, and that was like the whole prompt. It was like, what was something that you would do with your degree to change like your industry? And I wrote about sex.
And what did you say?
And I don't really remember exactly. It was definitely a little bit more like conservative leaning.
Interesting.
But I do still resonate with the aspect of like, I do think we need to be so much more intentional about what we show. But I do agree with that article, and like, I just think we need like a renaissance on how we're like showing it.
I do like what you said about I do think more honest sex scenes. I do like that. And I don't mean just like they can still be like hot or whatever, but I think the discussion and what comes after that, like it
doesn't just fade to black after sex.
Yeah, or like the curtains blowing.
Yeah, it's never that. It's never that.
Yeah, I agree. I
feel like television, you have more room to like explore that, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's just a lot, guys. Sorry if this whole conversation was like a little bit scattered, but it's just such a big topic, because it's like we don't know how sex scenes and how media is gonna look.
Yeah, well, because sex to you is different than sex to me, and different for the person
to
listening.
The listener,
like
to you, listener,
it's just like it's all perspective, and I think that's why it's important to even have the open discussion about it. Because like literally, somebody could say something, listen to this episode, and tell me their opinion about it. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that.
And it's also like,
wow.
okay, that's our generation. What do our parents think about this? Like, what do and like, is it an uncomfortable conversation? Yeah, of course. Nobody wants to talk about that with their parents, but it's also like, it's still like, let's
pretend like it doesn't happen. I feel like that's why a lot of people like lash out, I guess, like especially if they were like raised like sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad. I mean, that's literally, isn't that not like Pearl Maxine coded?
Yes. Period. Maxine coming soon.
No, literally.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, like, and that's like, I mean, yeah.
Actually,
when
that's
women
like
are
a perfect example.
Yeah, it literally is.
Like the difference between Pearl and Maxine, the characters, in the way, like Pearl was not able to, like, aside from the whole like star plot, she like couldn't express her sexuality because of the time she was in, and Maxine can because of the time she was in, and so the yeah, you're right. Like the difference in the growing up and the generation that you come from.
But it still plagues her, though,
Girl.
Maxine.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see how it plagues her in this new movie.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but
We wish.
yeah.
Anyways.
I like don't even know how to wrap it up because it's just so.
Like, I feel like that's literally how I feel about like sex in general. Like I'm just like, okay. Okay.
We should revisit this in like a year.
Oh, 100%.
I would love to see where we are at that point in time.
Right. Oh, brother.
I did have one more thing just about House of the Dragon. It's just kind of a funny thing. Like, I don't watch that show. I am not a Game of Thrones girly. I'm not a fantasy girly.
Yeah,
I'm not into
either.
the dragons. But House of Dragon star Olivia Cooke revealed to Elle magazine that she was somewhat disagreed with showrunner Ryan Condell when he decided to cut some of her sex scenes from season 2. She said the intimate scene was carnal and even animalistic. She said it was messy as fuck. It wasn't beautiful, and that was really fun to do. I think Ryan said we weren't learning any more about the characters, which I disagree with slightly, but it's okay. It's his show. See, and that is like perfect.
Yeah.
Like we don't all have to agree on sex and art, but ultimately it's how we engage with it that matters, I think, and what we take from that into our real life.
And also like that
And
is a part of the
relationships.
conversation with sex positivity. Like even if you necessarily wouldn't do the act like that they're like engaging with in that way, like it's still important to like hear it and like have an open ear to it and not like shut it down.
I think we just need to talk more. Why don't we just all talk and not on
What?
Twitter?
What happened if we talked?
Yeah.
What happened if we talked, you guys?
Yeah. Talk, or what's the Charlie XCX song? Is it called Talk?
Yeah.
The new one. Yeah.
We should
That's what
talk,
this
talk,
episode brought to you by
talk,
Bra.
talk.
Well, it's just like,
But that requires honesty from other people, and so many people are just so uncomfortable with themselves that they don't even. Girl, let me.
we're not. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere with this, just because like it's. Hopefully, in a year. Well.
In a year, I'm gonna have absolutely such a different opinion about this. 100%.
Interesting. Well, I would love to,
100%.
guys. We're gonna revisit this in a year.
Yeah. Especially if I continue to engage on this year of dating, like, mama, I'm sure, like.
A year of rest and relaxation.
No, the fact that it's only June and I'm already like, guys, like, I've been through two situationships that are literally like, girl, what? But I do feel like I am gaining a lot more perspective about myself, which is the whole point of my year of dating.
But it's
So-
also, yeah, that's also, I think, what sex is for a lot of people. It's like, even if.
Well, that's why I didn't engage with it, was because I
Uh-huh.
was so fearful of it.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't engage with sex or dating, because I was so fearful of it. And then once you open that little Pandora's box, like, it's just really insane. Yeah.
Well, guys, did we get anywhere? Maybe. Maybe
I mean,
not.
we didn't have an answer. I mean, there is no direct answer
Yeah.
for this.
It was more of just a discussion about it. Guys,
Of
I would
course,
love.
that's a podcast, my love.
Yeah. But like, I feel like sometimes there's more about like,
We're
here's
not
what
an
we
authority. We're not an authority on this.
Want. Well, no, but
Yeah.
sometimes in other episodes there is like a, this is what we want.
Oh,
from it.
yeah.
But it's just kind of like it's.
Well, I
such a
guess what we do
broad-
want is just like a new perspectives on it, like more
Period.
honesty in it, more like awkwardness in it, like, you know, because I think we both agree that like, yeah, we still need sex scenes, but like,
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a different tone when it comes to it, and I guess more intention.
I think what I want from it personally is for audiences to engage with sex scenes just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
How are we gonna get there, girl? No clue. Maybe we won't.
Right.
It's just like yeah.
Well, did you read that when the article it was like, well, we grew up with like right after the Hays Code, like
Yeah.
kind of, and like it was like hella hypersexualized, so maybe we're just experiencing fatigue again, and
Yeah,
it's like,
maybe.
damn, like we literally are on like either side of the spectrum at all times. But it's a horseshoe, I guess.
Period. Well,
This
guys,
is hella bleak.
but it's
Sorry.
not supposed to be.
I
'Cause
know,
sex is like love and like whatever.
right?
Okay,
But do we have
period.
good?
Sex is love and whatever. In conclusion.
Yeah. I think maybe just not satisfied of like where we are in media and life about sex. It's just like mama.
Interesting. We need like
I feel hella bleak about romance right now. I think that's maybe why my context.
Because that's not necessarily how I feel about it.
Yeah, of course.
But
because you're in love.
Yeah, but it's also like, well, I feel like we're just going in circles at this point.
Yeah, there's so much to cut.
Guys,
so let's just end it.
Okay, well, we need like a Art Hollywood Reddit. Like, I want to hear. I want people in the chat. Right. I want people in the chat. I really want to know what people think about this.
No, literally.
Because like we could have had a guest on today, but it would have been too chaotic, and we're still getting into the swing of things. Especially because the conversation was so.
Well, you know how
rough.
we get people to engage with our shit. We need to clip our shit on TikTok.
Well,
yeah.
I need a new battery for the cameras.
Yeah. Well,
because it dies so quick.
Right.
I mean, I can still clip the first half, but the second half. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Really. I don't even know what I would describe this episode as.
I knew this was going to be a hard one for me to film.
Guys, we're talking about Nicole Kidman next week.
Thank fucking
like,
God.
We will. This is
vibe shift.
I just wanted to show our like our range. Like tomorrow, like next week, we will be talking about Nicole Kidman and all her incredible projects, and it will not be this intense.
No.
But it's just we had to start off with a bang. We need to get the viewers back in. We've been gone for 2 years.
Right. We need to have a hot take.
Yeah, we need to have a hot take.
I think people will resonate though.
I hope so. Guys, please let us know.
We have to clip on TikTok. Like, I'm literally so interested in what people have to say about it.
Period. We will. Guys, follow our TikTok at our.hollywood. Our Instagram at our... Wait. Is our TikTok at our Hollywood? And then our Instagram is our.hollywood.
If you look up our Hollywood, it'll come up.
Guys, I'm working on a little like website for it just so that I can just plug that like I do for besties. But yeah, go to our Instagram. All of our stuff is there, and you can find everything else from there. Thank you so much for listening. Every Thursday we'll be back. And we'll be back with guests soon. We're very excited. Thank you guys for listening. Kim is, by the way, camera's off. Kim is literally laying down.
I'm down.
Like that was a lot.
I'm hella down right now.
Anyways,
I think because I just kept on like thinking.
Lots of thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We're
gonna go get some
I swear I'll have a better vibe next week, you guys. Maybe. So.
Well, you will. It's Nicole Kidman.
100%.
Okay, guys. Bye. Thank you for listening.